Did my card go through?
Oh no.
Your small business depends on its internet, so switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second, unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and zero cooking. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite food delivered straight to you. Get Burger King, Subway, Popeyes, and hundreds more local favorites and savor every last bite. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
This summer, try the new Strato Frappuccino blended beverage at Starbucks. It's the classic blended iced coffee you know and love, now topped with a creamy layer of handcrafted brown sugar cold foam. Available for a limited time. Your Strato Frappuccino is ready at Starbucks.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Hello, and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Austin, also known as Teacup.
And my name is Shelby, also known as She-Cup.
Join us as we embark on unraveling all of your favorite mysteries from the Assassin's Creed universe. From assassins to Templars to the mysterious Isu and more. We will seek to uncover it all, so join us and maybe even take a leap of faith.
Hello and welcome to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. My name is Shelby. You might also know me as She-Cup, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, I am Austin, otherwise known as Teacup.
So I hear we have a really, really interesting topic today. One that may not get to be fully covered in this one episode.
So that is correct. Today we have a character deep dive, and similar to our last character deep dive on a character of this much importance, it will be 2 episodes.
So, clarifying question. When you say a character of this much importance, do you mean all of the game protagonists will probably have to be covered in multiple episodes?
If I had to guess, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So today we are covering Eivor Varinsdottir, or Eivor Wolfkissed, also known as the protagonist of AC Valhalla. So if you have not yet played Valhalla, if you have not finished the last chapter, first go play last chapter. It's pretty good and it's not very long, so it shouldn't take you very long. But this will be 2 parts, at least 2 parts. So this is Eivor's story that I'm going to be covering. So for those of you who know, this is your spoiler warning. But for those of you who know, Eivor is a sage of Odin. Odin will make some appearances here, but I'm not going to go into the Asgard storylines because those are Odin storylines and this is an Eivor. So today we're going to start with the fun facts.
Wait, we're starting with the fun facts today?
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
just because I think they give an interesting background.
Interesting. You're not taking a page out of my book for Dragon Age Lorecast, are you?
Maybe. Who cares?
All right. Well, let's just jump right in.
All right. So Eivor is canonically female. Even though you can play as a male in AC Valhalla, Eivor in all official media is canon female. Now, the way Ubisoft explains this is because Eivor is an Isu sage, she contains 2 strands of DNA. So if you choose the option, let the animus decide for your gender, you will be female Eivor when you are in our world in England, Norway, Ireland, France. You will be male Eivor when you are experiencing Odin's visions and visions of Asgard, Jotunheim, and the other DLCs. So, that also being said, Eivor is the first player character to be a sage. And this is just a really kind of fun historical. Though this is not confirmed by Ubisoft, Eivor seems to be based on a legendary character from around the 9th century CE, who was said to walk the line between Saxon and Dane. It is also rumored that there was a Dane that would advise King Alfred of Wessex. Many of these Viking stories take from these myths and legends. One example being Uhtred from the Last Kingdom show or the Last Kingdom novel series. I haven't read the novel, so I don't know if they have an official name other than the Last Kingdom books, but
yes, it is called the oh my gosh, I've read all 12 of them. I should know. I think it's the Saxon series, or the Saxon stories, actually. But yes, it's really, I read all of the books this year. Austin and I have both watched the show together like 3 or 4 times. It's one of our favorite shows, and the books are, it's classic. The books are better, and just give a deeper perspective to the stories. So if you like Uhtred in The Last Kingdom, definitely read the books. I know that 12 is a lot of books, but you get way more in that story, and it's just a really good story.
Also, if you're a religious nerd and you want one of what I think is one of the best adaptations of what everyday medieval Christianity would have looked like, I think that's a good show to portray it.
I agree.
So another example would be some of our modern day interpretations of Ragnar Lothbrok. Though, with these 2 examples, Eivor is not an actual historical person. Uhtred and Ragnar were. They were actual historical people, though the shows and books that draw from them tend to draw from their parts of their history and add in some of the myth and legends that surround this kind of mythological, legendary Viking figure that roamed them around and drew the line between Saxon and Dane, which, and in all likelihood, there were several of them. And they've all kind of been told into this one person across history.
Right, because it's like not, especially in like the later part of the 9th century, and like as you get later in time, the separations between Saxon and Dane become smaller. You have a lot of intermarriage and stuff like that. So the sides of Saxon versus Dane, they very much become less and less important as time goes on.
Right. So that's our little fun kind of historical background. So let's get into Eivor's life. All right, this is your last chance. Since this is the most recent game, this is your last chance for spoilers. These are big spoilers for Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Are you talking to me or our listeners?
Yes. You don't have a choice. Sorry. So, Eivor was born in 847 CE, or Common Era. Her parents are Rasta and Varin, hence the name Varinsdottir, which means Varinsdottir. So there would be a different, obviously in Norse, there would be a different like ending to Varins for like son of Varin for a male Eivor. But since she's canonically female, that's her name. So Eivor had a pretty normal childhood as far as AC standards of normal go. She would spend her time listening to her father's stories, stacking Cairn stones, which are just kind of like a stacking stones that you do with her mother as they would tell stories and different stories of their family's history, Norse mythology, all kinds of stuff like that. When she was 8, her father sought to strengthen the bond of their family with the Raven clan, whose king was Styrborn, and his son would be Sigurd. So, during the feast to celebrate the union, Kvothe the Cruel of the Wolf clan would attack the Eivor's home, their family home. Kvothe would take the Raven clan by surprise. And after the fighting, he would basically seclude Varin around that. And he tells Varin to throw down his axe and die as a coward. And to save his people, he does so, at many people urging him not to. And this allows Kvothe to kill him. However, Kvothe did not keep his word, and he attacked the people anyway, killing Varin and Rosta, leaving Eivor orphaned and her father forever branded a coward. Which, a little historical background, this would be a very big deal for a Vikinger to lay down their axe willingly and let someone kill them.
Right, because like in their culture, they believe, and if you've watched any of the Viking TV shows, you know this, they believed that if you didn't die with your weapon, like you didn't get to go to the afterlife, you didn't get to go to Valhalla, the name of the game. So the fact that Eivor's dad not only like doesn't die with his weapon, he like willingly gives it up is a really big deal.
And it would forever stain Eivor's name.
Right.
So Eivor would attempt to escape after this with Sigurd on horseback, but something happens to where the horse gets spooked and they fall. And she's then attacked by wolves. And they attack her and leave her neck scarred. And this would earn her the name Wolf-Kissed, as her neck bears the scars of a wolf bite. Eivor would then be adopted by Styrborn and the Raven clan and would grow up around her foster brother, Sigurd. So that's her early life. Any comments?
So Sigurd is the son of
Styrborn.
Okay. So Sigurd is part of the Raven clan.
Mm-hmm.
Kvothe, how do you say this?
Kvothe.
Kvothe is part of the Wolf clan, and Eivor is part of the what clan?
Raven clan.
Okay, so both Styrborn and Eivor and Sigurd are all part of the Raven clan.
Yes. So Varin and Rosta, they had a kind of like small village and small gathering. They basically opted to join the Raven clan.
Okay. Gotcha.
So after this, Styrborn decides to adopt Eivor, making her Raven clan.
Gotcha. So I think the first thing that really, and this is the only thing I have so far, this surprises me and stands out to me that Eivor, her family is attacked by the Jarl of the Wolf clan, and she narrowly escapes and immediately gets attacked by wolves. And then her name from then on is Wolf-Kissed.
Yes.
Ironic and cruel of God, frankly.
Right. Much symbolism in the story, and it's also symbolism in the fact that we know, and we've talked about in the podcast, that Eivor is a sage of Odin, and Odin's ultimate fate is at the hands of Fenrir, the wolf.
Right, that too.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get into Eivor's life as a raven. So, Sigurd, being the Jarl's son, he obviously goes out and raids in the time. He goes and he raids other places across Europe and Asia. Eivor is not a Vikinger to raid out to there. She is she's charged with the defense of the Raven clan lands from Quixote. And Eivor would raid a settlement of the wolf that the wolf clan had occupied. After the battle, Eivor is attacked by a slave woman who identifies herself as Gull. Eivor subdues this woman and returns with her to Steerborn. Now, when Eivor comes back, she's expecting this kind of grand acceptance and like, oh, right, yeah, you stuck it to the wolf clan. You're a true Viking. Like, we did this. Well, Steerborn is not happy. He berates Eivor for invoking Quixote's wrath by stealing his slave. And says that Eivor is too hot-headed and too eager for war. So Eivor, enraged by this humiliation, she vents to her friend Tora about her frustrations with Steerborn. And upon hearing this, the slave Gull promises to lead Eivor to the Aesir horde. She promises to do that because Eivor didn't beat her and Eivor wasn't cruel to her. So she's going to give her what she was always denied, Quixote. During the journey, Eivor and Gull become friends, especially after Eivor saved Gull from falling off the mountain on the path to where this treasure is. However, when arriving at the treasure's location, Eivor sees that the temple is ransacked and Quixote's men are waiting for her. It is revealed that Gull was attempting to hand Eivor over as a present to the Wolf Clan, and the men attacked her and she fends off most of them. However, she is stabbed in the back by Gull, both metaphorically and literally.
At what point do you stop trusting this person? You know what I mean?
Right. Eivor claims that she will not be a slave and that she will claim whatever treasure that is in the temple in Steerborn's name. The leader of the group, Bjark Broadside, tells her that Steerborn is dead as a result of a raid on their home. Bjark becomes then frustrated with Gull because she will not tell him or lead him to where the treasure is, and begins to beat her. When he's about to kill her, Eivor tackles him, saving Gull. Bjark is startled by this, that this Viking would save the woman who just tried to kill her. He throws Eivor off. However, the foundations of the temple begin to shake and Bjark becomes distracted. Eivor uses this moment to thrust a sword through Bjark's head. In the struggle, Eivor discovers the treasure by kicking a wall made of rotten wood. The treasure was marked as the treasure of Heimdall, and it contained piles of gold and an apple of Eden. So after the struggle, Gull attempts to take the apple, claiming that she would never be a slave again. Eivor attempts to take it from Gull, but Gull tells her that she has a choice to save her people or get the apple, basically revealing that Bjark's buff that her home was being attacked was true, and that she could either choose to get the apple or she could choose to save her people. Eivor chooses the former and leaves Gull to her fate. So Gull leaves with the apple. Now, I made a note here. We do not know if this is a new apple or if this is one of the 7 apples we talked about in the apple episode.
If you had to make a guess, which one would you say?
I would say it's probably one of the 7 because there's so much time that's unaccounted for in those apples.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things that really stick out to me. The first thing I'm curious about, how old is Eivor in this time period?
It's around 870 CE.
So how old is she?
23.
23?
Yeah, she's born in 847.
So do you feel like she's like young and really trying to prove herself with all of this?
I think so.
Yeah, I very much feel that just from your presentation. And obviously, I haven't played the game yet, but I feel like Eivor has something to prove. So that's kind of the first thing I'm noticing. The second thing I'm noticing is this Gull character very much is presented as like, in how you're telling it, is very much presented as like a one-off character, as someone who like doesn't play a huge role, but then by the end it's like, oh, actually this person's really important. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. I would also agree with that in the sense of when she takes the apple, it seems to activate something in her, and she starts spouting some random nonsense. And now this material is not found in Valhalla. It is found in one of the offshoot comics. And it's just really interesting because it implies that she has some kind of connection to the Isu in some way, but we're not really sure what that is or where she is. And like, I'm curious, like when they say, yes, you can write and illustrate this comic, I wonder if these comic people are like, oh, let's weave something into the greater story, or let's just write these one-off stories that we think are fun, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that they have some pretty strict direction from Ubisoft. I really don't see them just giving the writers like total free reign over stuff, but you know, I guess we don't really have confirmation of that either way.
Right. That's true. Well, I think now would be a good time for our break, and then we can get back and see what happens with the Raven Clan.
Already? Wow. Okay.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection, and with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Put us in a box. Go ahead. That just gives us something to break out of. Because the next generation 2025 GMC Terrain Elevation is raising the standard of what comes standard. As far as expectations go, why meet them when you can shatter them? What we choose to challenge, we challenge completely. We are professional grade. Visit gmc.com to learn more.
Your earbud fell in a coffee cup. You need a taco pick-me-up. When modern life gets rough, grab the timeless taste you love. Paso, the old El Paso.
Ma cos'è? Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
Malaka! 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 I get the sense you two are ill fit for whatever it is you're plotting.
This one takes us for a fool, brother. We sons of Ragnar have this well under control.
No, we do not.
Sons of Ragnar. I know of many, but never have I heard of Dull and Duller.
So welcome to the middle of the show. This is our break period. This is where we talk about all the things that have to do with the Assassin's Creed lorecast, but not necessarily the lore of Assassin's Creed. So the first thing I want to do is to remind you that we have a Patreon. We have a few patrons, and we are so appreciative of them. And so if you want to financially support us, you appreciate the work we do here, definitely hop over and join the Patreon. The Patreon is the number one way to support us. You know, we put out this show and do this work for free and don't charge you anything. So if you would like to help us keep putting out the show and keep making this content for you, the best way to support us is to do that on Patreon. So the next best way to support us, if you can't afford to support us financially, is to leave us a good rating and review. You can leave us a rating without words on Spotify, and you can leave us a rating with words on Apple. And like I mentioned, if you leave us a 5-star good rating, we will read it out on the show. But today we don't have any to read, so we are going to move on to the next thing, which the next thing that I want to talk about is the Discord. We have a hop-in Discord server. The link to it is in the episode description. We have just really the best time over there. There's fans of all of our shows, from the Assassin's Creed Lorecast to the Dragon Age Lorecast to the Inheritance Cycle page by page show, and Austin's other show, the Holocron Histories show. So there are all kinds of topics that we talk about, from Star Wars to Assassin's Creed to Dragon Age, BioWare, all kinds of stuff, and everything in between, everything that is not included in those categories. And we just generally have a fun time hanging out with one another. So definitely get into the Discord if you want to be our friend or want to talk to us more about some of the things we talk about in the show. Discord is the best way to contact us. Also, if you have any kind of questions or anything like that. So those are all of the important things I have to tell you. Let's talk about my playthrough for a little bit. I'm still in sequence 9. It is Christmas time, so I haven't made a lot of progress. I'm really hoping to finish this game by the end of December. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of free time after Christmas. I'll have a little bit of PTO time for my full-time job. So hopefully I'll have some time then to finish it and move into Liberation and Black Flag. Hopefully Liberation doesn't take me a long time, because I feel like Black Flag is going to be a long game. Do you have any thoughts?
Yes, Black Flag will take you a long time. There's just a lot to do.
Well, do you have anything else before we get back into the show?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm turning it over to you.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab, LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Me, Haytham. I come in peace.
Why are you speaking so slow?
Sorry.
What? I was told you could train me. No. Go away.
I'm not leaving!
Bianca! Bianca!
Is everything all right?
What do you think? Look at this place. And poor Bianca. If something's happened to her. Aha! Oh, my darling. Thank God you're all right. Ezio, meet Bianca. Bianca, Ezio.
Charmed.
All right. So we last left Eivor as she rushes to try to save the clan. So she returns to find the settlement completely being sacked by the wolf clan. She comes in and she sees that her friend Tora has been killed. She uses this kind of as a rallying point and brings other Vikings, including the Viking Dag, who will play a point later, probably in next episode, and to defend the home from the wolf clan. She rallies all the Vikings to defend their king, Styrborn. Eivor saves the day, and Styrborn praises her for her bravery. However, some people question where she was and why she wasn't present for the start of the attack. She simply says that it does not matter, as today I chose family over glory. You should keep that in mind as we continue the rest of her story. I chose family over glory.
Okay. I'll put that in my back pocket.
Yeah. As someone who has consumed a fair amount of Viking media, that is both very Viking and very not Viking.
I feel like it's interesting that you say it's very Viking, because I don't feel like it's very Viking at all. I mean, it's obviously not Viking in the sense of you would not want to ever sacrifice your reputation or like your ability or chance to get into Valhalla at all. So I feel like it's not, that's why it's not Viking. But maybe you can explain now or later. It doesn't really matter why you think it is Viking.
Well, I think it is Viking in a sense of like, I don't think a Viking would make family and glory exclusive terms. Like they would be interlinked to each other.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Right. But it also points to a point of like, Eivor has now like reached this point of she is Raven Clan. The Raven Clan is her family, even though she wasn't born into the Raven Clan. And I think this shows that in Norse culture, in a lot of Viking culture, that idea of found family or adopted family would be very important. Their definition of family would not be of blood. It would be something that is much more fluid.
Mm-hmm. And I think we do see this in other Viking stories too. Like, I don't think that's something that's unique to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, especially when we think about, I'll compare it to Uhtred and the Last Kingdom, because that's the one I'm most familiar with. But, you know, Uhtred he was raised as a Saxon up until he's like 8 or 9 years old. And his dad dies in a battle with Danes, and the whole reason why he isn't killed or sold as a slave is because he tries to fight the Dane that was leading the army against his family, and he stands up to this Dane, and the Dane, who's named Ragnar, thinks it's funny and is like, oh, okay, so like you're a little kid, you got some fight in you. And so he takes him as his household slave, and then eventually he becomes like Ragnar's son. And so Uhtred he's a kid that grows up for most of his childhood as a Saxon, and then in his most formative years, like your 4th grade-ish time, he becomes part of a Danish family, and he remains in that family until he becomes an adult. So that's not, I don't think that's an unusual story for Eivor.
And I think this is part of the thing that brings in so much tension between the Saxon and the Danes. In particular, is because the Saxons, in a lot of ways, bought into all this nobility. And they're like, well, I'm the son of this, and this entitles me to this. And the Vikings very much have an earned culture of like, we don't care who your father is. What have you done?
Right. As long as you can prove yourself, it doesn't matter.
Right. So, obviously, Eivor and the Raven Clan are not going to let this attack stand. Even though Styrborn does not want them to, Eivor would lead an attack on the Wolf Clan village in hopes of finding Kyobe. However, she only finds his youngest son in a treasure chest that's missing some important scrolls that she's supposed to find. Eivor would then track Kyobe and his other son, Gorm, to a hunting lodge. As they begin to fight, Eivor would wound Gorm and then would be wounded by Kyobe. Kyobe would use this opportunity to flee, and Eivor would tell her raiding party to wait, and that an opportunity for revenge would present itself at another time. Again, another thing that's not very Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings aren't really known for their patience.
Right. So, and now the hunt is on for Kyobe. Eivor would hunt him, and this would eventually lead to her capture, where Kyobe would taunt her by showing her father's axe into her face. And then he leaves, saying that she will be sold into slavery. Eivor would escape her captors and then flee and then free her crew and leave to continue to hunt for the Jarl of the Wolf Clan. As Eivor returns to Fronberg, the home of the Raven clan, Styrbjorn is not happy with her and tells her again that she is too eager for war and that Kyobe would be dealt with in time. When Eivor touches Varen's axe, she receives a strange vision. And it's a vision of like a big tree and the skies are all red. It's really weird. So when she returns to Fronberg, she comes to the seer's hut up in the mountains. And the seer gives her a potion so that she can kind of relive her vision, which she sees the Nonir, she sees her brother Sigurd, who only has one arm, and a great wolf. And she wakes up and she's very, very upset. And the seer basically says like, oh, this is a vision of betrayal. You will betray Sigurd. And Eivor's like, no, I would never. And she runs away. So after that, she returns and she's meeting again with the king, who is upset with her. And it's this point that Sigurd finally returns to Fronberg from his voyages. And he is accompanied by none other than Basem and Hytham, two hidden ones from the Middle East.
So Sigurd comes back with Basem and Hytham, not Eivor.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Because he was over in Constantinople.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Do we know why he was over there?
Raiding.
Just that's the only reason we know.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So after meeting with Basem, he gives Eivor a hidden blade, which she takes and wears on her forearm instead of under her arm around the wrist for reasons. Her reason being that a weapon like that should be displayed so it can be feared. But if you play the game, it doesn't really make sense how it would work because you'd have to bend your arm weird.
But at this point, Eivor is not part of the Assassins.
Correct.
There has been, in all of this episode so far, there has been no mention of the Assassins or the Templars.
Correct. Or at this point, the Hidden Ones in Order of Ancients.
Right, sure. Gotta be technical over here.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, though, the first 4 sequences of AC2 don't mention Assassins or Templars at all.
I mean, don't you feel like it's hinted at, though, with his dad and this whole secret knowledge and everything?
If you've played AC1.
Do you feel like there are as many hints in the opening sequences of Valhalla about the Assassins and the Templars as there are in previous games, such as Assassin's Creed 2?
Not really. Not until you meet Basem and Hytham. And to be fair, it's like the third mission in the game. So a lot of what I've covered before is in comic material. And this is very early on in the game.
Right.
So they spend the night kind of swapping stories, Basem, Sigurd, Hytham, and Eivor. And they're sharing of their different conquests and their different struggles that they faced. And Eivor and Sigurd decide it's time to take the fight to the Wolf Clan's doorstep. And Basem and Hytham agree to help them. And so after several raids on the Wolf Clan strongholds, Sigurd and Eivor meet King Harald Fairhair. And yes, his hair is very fair. Who pledges to help them defeat Kyobe. As the newly formed alliance prepares for battle, Basem tells Eivor that Kjotve is a member of the Order of Ancients and that he and Hytham have come to kill him. As the battle is about to begin, Eivor challenges Kjotve to one-on-one combat, which Kjotve agrees. So this is very similar to Eivor goes and challenges Kjotve to one-on-one combat with the thing of like, if I win, we win the battle and we take your clan. If you win, we'll go home and leave you alone. So the fight ensues. It is your first kind of boss fight for the game. And Kjotve is kind of like a beast. He's very tanky. He's very bulky. He moves around. And so the fight kind of goes on and you're moving. And at some point you fall into a trench with Kjotve. And it's at this point that Hytham attempts to air assassinate Kjotve while he's distracted. And it's a big scene. Like you expect it to go like a just typical assassination scene. Like, oh, he's going to kill him and it's going to be the end. Kjotve grabs Hytham with his hand out of the air and then throws him off, injuring the assassin permanently. So Eivor continues the fight and does eventually kill Kjotve, avenging her father and shedding the curse of his cowardice. Gorm, obviously enraged by his father's death, attempts to attack the Raven clan and rescinds his father's promise that they would bow down and let the fight be won. So a true siege and battle ensues. They are able to take the city, but Gorm, in his own cowardness, flees and lives to fight another day. And that's where we'll pause with Eivor's story for now, and we'll come back next week, pick up there, and see what adventures Eivor's going to take after that.
You're going to make me wait a whole entire week?
I am.
That's rude. I have thoughts.
Let's get them.
So Gorm is the son of Kjotve.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still alive and Kjotve is dead.
Correct.
Because Eivor has killed Kjotve.
Correct.
Okay. So you said that her killing of Kjotve is what sheds like her curse from her father of like being a coward and everything.
Yes.
So are there a lot of people around when she kills him, or is like it just by reputation that like, how does this really cure or get rid of this curse in her life?
So I need to go back to this. Sigurd basically tells Styrbjorn at the beginning of this, I am like the Jarl's son. I will be Jarl and king one day. We're going to take care of Kjotve because I will not rule over a land that has his plague in it. And so Styrbjorn finally just kind of caves and he authorizes the Raven clan to basically go to war with the Wolf clan.
Okay.
So the entire Raven and Wolf clan witnessed this fight between Eivor and Kjotve.
So they all know, like, okay, this is basically war. It's not just like something random.
Correct.
Gotcha. That makes more sense to me. Another thing I'm curious about is Hytham. You said he's an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes with Basem. We know Basem was at one point an assassin. I guess my question is, and maybe you don't have an answer, the name Hytham is very interesting, seeing as how we have the character of Hytham, right? From Assassin's Creed 3. I had to think about which game I was on. So, you know, obviously in 3, Hytham Kenway is Templar, like Grand Master, but his dad, Edward, right, was an assassin. So is like Hytham the great ancestor of Edward Kenway? Like, do we know any of this information?
We do not.
We know nothing.
Well, yeah, because, you know, like, rando Middle Eastern person living in England in the 9th century isn't going to have a lot of historical data written about them.
Well, I mean, yeah, most likely, but you never know. You could make the argument for different things, I think.
Right. I mean, it is possible he does settle in England and presumably die there. So it is possible. We just don't know.
Unlikely. It sounds unlikely.
Yes. I had once made that connection, is what I was going to say, but I couldn't find anything to connect it to. I think that in one of the like outer world things, like in the modern day stuff, Sean has a little note about hypothesizing about it, but I can't remember. And so, yeah. But Hytham will play a more major role coming up. We're not done with him yet, so we'll see more from him later.
Interesting. That's very fascinating. It's so interesting to me that Eivor has no connection to the Templars or the Assassins.
Yes, and we will see that that doesn't really change.
Right. And I know that that's something that people don't love about this game.
Yeah.
It is a really interesting choice. And I guess I'm reserving judgment, not only until I play the game myself, but until we kind of see, like, what's the point? Like, what is the ending of this story really going to be? Because I really genuinely don't feel like we can adequately judge Valhalla until we see what Mirage is like. Just because it feels like Basim is so tied to this game too.
Right. Definitely 100%. And, you know, a story might happen down the line and we might look back at Valhalla and say this was the most important game of the entire series. I mean, we do that a lot in Dragon Age with Dragon Age 2. We're going back to that game and we're like, oh, here are the hints of this later on.
I know, and like that stays the truth. That just happened. They just released a new Dragon Age TV show, and there are connections to Dragon Age 2 in it, and so that's correct. And you know, the same thing happened in Mass Effect. Mass Effect 3 had several missions that were like, oh my god, this is connected to that one random side mission that I did or didn't do in Mass Effect 1. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah. So I think I want to see where they're going with this modern day story and other things like that before I judge Valhalla too harshly.
Mm-hmm.
But I have one kind of theory that I want to shoot by you.
Yeah.
So there is a scene before Eivor meets with Steerborn after returning to him after she frees himself from almost being a slave. And he's talking to an advisor, and I'll reveal who that advisor is in the next episode. But when he's leaving that advisor and Eivor comes in, he says the phrase, may the, and then he's cut off.
Uh-huh.
So there are many people who believe that Steerborn is a member of the Order of Ancients. And that's why he doesn't want to move against Kyotbe.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally agrees to when Harold is going to help them because they believe that Harold is the Grand Master of the Order of that area. Because he's meeting with Harold's advisor when Eivor sees him doing that.
Okay.
So the theory is that Steerborn is actually an Order of Ancients, hidden Order of Ancients people, and that's why he behaves in the way that he does in the game.
Let me take a guess. You don't agree, and you have an alternate theory.
No, I think the theory is very compelling.
Oh.
I just find it unlikely that... Well, I guess not. I just find it unlikely that Basim and Hytham would come all the way to Norway to kill one Order of Ancients member.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, like, there's others around there. But I think that's also possible. You know, Ezio sets out to kill like 3 people and uncovers a whole conspiracy. So, you know.
That's true. I also feel like priorities change, right? Like, you may originally set out to do something and then along the way realize, no, I've got it all wrong. So that's always a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder, like, I guess I just wonder if it's possible if any of the other clan leaders are members of like the assassins. Like, would Eivor's parents being assassins make sense for them to be attacked by this person, Kyobe, who may be a Templar?
It is possible. And it's possible because at this time in the story, Ragnar Lothbrok has already gone to England, and the Danish invasion and conquest of the British Isles has already begun.
Okay.
So they would have interacted with them. Well, we know that the Roman Brotherhood had hidden one bureaus all over the Isle of Britain. So it's possible that the Vikings encountered them and brought back some of their ideologies to Norway by this time. So it is possible. That would make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people ignore it because his name is Kyobe the Cruel. So he's just cruel. He just kills things because he wants them.
I mean, I get that. And I know that is breaking the code of the assassins, but we've seen assassins break the code previously.
Right. But we know for a fact that Kyobe was an Order of Ancients member.
Oh, I thought you were talking about...
Varin.
Yeah, thank you.
No. It's highly possible that Varin and Rasta are hidden ones.
Right. It's interesting.
Right, which would explain why Varin does lay down his life, because he would have at the heart of his creed to protect the innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that I want kind of just to point out to keep on your head before we head out is remember that Gorm is still alive. Remember Eivor's quote of, "Today I chose family over glory." And that's really it.
All right. Well, this was very interesting, very eye-opening, very intriguing. I'm ready for part 2.
Yeah, well, we'll get to part 2 next week.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Assassin's Creed Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at Assassin's Creed Lorecast, or you could talk to us on Discord in the Robots Radio Discord or our personal Discord server. Both links found in this episode's descriptions. Thank you for listening, and always stay to the shadows to serve the light, Assassins.
Want to live better? We got a lot of work to do. Join Chris Hemsworth in National Geographic's new Disney Plus original series, Limitless. Live Better Now. I'm diving headfirst into cutting-edge science to uncover 3 powerful secrets to living better right now. The growth that occurs through any challenging experience is really what we seek. Chris Hemsworth stars in Limitless. Live Better Now. Now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. It's showtime.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Alien Earth, the official podcast. Each week, host Adam Rogers is joined by guests, including the show's creator, cast, and crew, in this exclusive companion podcast. They will explore story elements, deep dive into character motivations, and offer an episode-by-episode behind-the-scenes breakdown of each terrifying chapter in this new series. Search FX's Alien Earth wherever you listen to podcasts.